merged in shadows and the gloom of absolute silence. My mood, too, was melancholy. Conversation has this ideal property. It alters our moods. One is gravity-bound, and then a conversation begins and provides buoyancy. But I simplify, I abbreviate. Life is full of apprehensions. You, sir, I can tell, are of a sturdy humor. A mint? I order them from Rhodes. Muscatel? A sugar drink? No. Well, then follow me. Notice the gay turkey carpet in the hall. We're walking on dragons. See those squiggles there? After you, sir, take a left and prepare to be surprised. This, sir, is the Swellage. Splendid, eh? The only one in the metropolis. It was conceived and executed by Matthew Mutterer, along with including the mortar boards and the table ends, all due to you. Note the bindings. I bet you are a bibliator. I always know a bibliolator. Check out the compulsory moleskin. Stroke it, sir. Go on, cheer yourself. All stamped with gold fleur-de-lis, and the leather sofa, elbow chair, grampus, foot oil, the tripod and squab, all designed by Mutterer for Perlmutter's mother, and all de la Pope. If you wish, sir, remove that muffler in your hat and try out the foot oil. Rest those oars. No? As you wish, sir. A munchie? Neither. Moving along. That big potted plant, watch your head, is a Vegas hippopotamic and as old as Perlmutter herself. Don't touch it, sir. Harsh desert forage, its thorns are full of brine. It was shipped all the way from the high cliffs of Akmar by Perlmutter's maiden mother-in-law, the philanthropod and ethnograph, Lucy Strumpeter, whose book on nose mutilations, feel that, is also bound in mole. That sappy greenness on the mantle is hers, as is the crystal dromedary, the crimp, and the barometer. She was a tepid traveler. Sometimes there's teas held here. I've seen the finger foods. Celery and coconut cake and stuffed olives and crab wontons, the whole suppository. Wholesome snack. Mouth-watering, although Mrs. Gastroform's small pug, smelling the meat, rejected it. I can see that you were wondering about that spot on the carpet. That, sir, is the very place Mr. Perlmutter bled to death, stabbed many times over by his murderer, Matthew Mutterer. Those bookends, du jus, are the Apollo Belvedere cut in two, but hey, I fear I've buttonholed you. I'll tell you, sir, you are one hot conversation piece. How you've got me hammering on, yet one should not underestimate the connection between conversation and happiness. The mind shudders to imagine itself isolated from others, doomed to silence, the tongue rotting between the teeth from inactivity. Those bronze leghorns. To tell the truth, I find solace here in the Swellage, and sometimes tears. See, sometimes just looking in on all the excitement, a sudden happiness surges through my heart and clutches at my throat, and I have to repress the urge to shout and jump and sing, for yes, I wear a skeleton on my sleeve. My service to the Perlmutter is the remedy to what? A wife. You've guessed it. A wife less than a helpmeet, more a bitter worm in the pie. Sir, sometimes the mystery of sex is not enough to keep a couple going. Or maybe the mystery and the sex were always one-sided. Maybe I was always the only one mystified. Women were made to attract and fascinate men, but I wonder, does it work the other way round? That ashtray is totally legitimate. Ditto the cracker tin, but back to my marriage. I guess you could say I've exchanged one old lady for another. That's my life's paradox. Home, I'm shut out, and here, I've got all the keys. I'll tell you something, though. When I married the wife, I was an enthusiast. I'd greet the night with real excitement. In no time flat, excitement gave way to dejection. You see, we didn't dally much. We didn't fool around, although I'd hoped we would. Hurry up, husband, she'd bellow. I've got other fish to fry. Here at the Perlmutter, I've had plenty of time to think things over. I've come to the conclusion that my marriage was propelled by a delusion and dampened by my wife's cunning management of my moods. That door leads to the hot air baths. They're heated from below. Perlmutter believed in promoting perspiration. He had a point. Unlike mine, his life was short and merry. It ended violently, a thing we might all aspire to. After 50 years, my marriage hums like an engine that has no need of grease, no need of me. Should I complain, the wife says, tell it to the Marines. Marriage has taught me this, how to eat an entire meal without spilling crumbs on the floor. There are more prestigious things I could do, perhaps, but I love the Perlmutter. She's a grande dame in a world of trollops, and furthermore, she affords me, as she has today, verbal intercourse with strangers. I think of myself as something of a gourmet. I accept only the best propos. Right now, as we speak together, the air around us is disturbed. The sounds we make are elastic. Like acrobats, they bound about. Shadows stir, dust lifts. Inertia is subverted by vibrations. Even before we have the time to appreciate what is happening, our ears have averted us to the fact of conversation. The vibrations, dear sir, are accompanied by an emotion. You will agree with me, nothing is more marvelous than the faculty of speech, the greetings that open the door to friendship. Tell me, sir, does not the harmony of life depend upon the success or failure to converse amiably? Sir, I can see that you are ready to be on your way. Perhaps another time I can show you the crypt. Yes, all the Perlmutters are there, except, of course, the ones who are living. Well then, a good day to you, sir. May I give you a squeeze? No. Thank you just the same. It was nice to Parsley, although we kept to shallow waters. I was pleased to ferry you about. May I give you a tinkle? Should Mrs. Gastroform call it a day? Okay, I think it's time for one more, is it? Okay. This is also a bit of realist fiction. Astonishing what's happened to me. I'm suddenly writing about my life. Okay, it's called The One Marvelous Thing. I always have this nightmare that I do this and their page is missing or it's all in hieroglyphs. I have this recurrent. The night before Ellen went shopping with Pat, she dreamed she was gazing at a painting that created the illusion of a portal opening upon a grove of citrus trees. Within it, a naked goddess tossed grain to a large, rose-colored bird. Awakening alone in a room so banal it made her weep, she dressed for the day without enthusiasm. Ellen has never liked Pat. A child of inherited wealth, Pat is addicted to the buying and selling of properties. The neighborhood is rife with seedy real estate made over into Tuscan villas. Everywhere you look, unedifying brass cocopellis tirelessly tootle on a glut of green. Weird Vietnam vets and old folks too stunned to answer a doorbell have been swapped for earnest acrobats of both sexes. They canter past at all hours, accompanied by dogs the size of Hondas sporting alpaca leg warmers. Sundays, their gimlet-eyed brats shriek from atop toy castles constructed of Indonesian teak. Because she dislikes Pat, it makes little or no sense that Ellen accepts to join her shopping. Against her better instincts, and before she can change her mind, she's belted into Pat's SUV and already alienated. Today, Pat's glazed lips are unfamiliarly swollen, her hair thrashing with extensions, and her contacts tiger agate. Enhancement, Pat confines huskily in response to Ellen's eyeballing, is the name of the game. Ellen, who thinks she's referring to a TV program, wonders, what's it like? Great, says Pat. Why settle for less than better? I'm so out of it, Ellen acknowledges with a small, self-depreciating laugh. I thought best was good enough. Don't be a fool, Pat scolds her. Best can always be bested. Lamb chops, pesto, super Tuscans, sex. She laughs with all her teeth. Yes, sex can be better. Look in the box in the back seat. With difficulty, Ellen twists around and reaching feels something notched and carved. A bone whistle, a slip of oiled wood. Claws, are they? Teeth? She recoils with horror. Uzbeki sex toys, Pat carols, careening into Wormwood's vast parking lot. There is a line, maybe 300 people waiting for Wormwood to open. Her bosom enhanced with Ralph Lauren counterfeit squash blossoms, Pat marches past them, Ellen in tow and already breathless. In tow, rather, already breathless. Knocking on the great glass doors, Pat manages to get someone's attention. "We're here," she shouts gaily. "With All International, you must let us in."